So Mayor Lippmann, you came to Mesquite to retire.
Absolutely.
And then you got involved in local politics, and now you're mayor. Right. Tell us a little bit about that story.
Okay, it probably started out because I'm a veteran. And I was approached by somebody and said, "You're a vet, right?" And I said, "Yep." He said, "Well, we're trying to build a veterans center in Mesquite, and we've gotten nowhere with the city of Mesquite." Now, mind you, this is several mayors back and several councils back, so nobody currently there is involved. And I met with the city council and the mayor at the time, the city attorney, and was basically told, "No, you don't need anything like that. Mesquite's got plenty for you guys to do. There's casinos and there's golf courses." And I thought, I don't know how this fits the picture, but no is not a good answer. So I thought, rather than take no for an answer, if I was on the other side of the table, maybe I could interject a little bit more. So I said, you know what, I'm running for office. And that was the start of the whole thing. And we did get our Veterans Center, by the way.
Oh, good.
And we've had tremendous cooperation from the partnership with the hotel casino industry.
Yeah.
Both Eureka and Mesquite Gaming, they virtually came to our rescue. They said, "What can we do to help you guys in this city?" And we have over 2,400 veterans in Mesquite. That's a lot of the population. That's a little over 10% right now of the current population.
Right, which is higher than the average.
That veteran population, we have 1,000 flags over Mesquite. This is a sight to see. And of course, we bring down the wall every chance we get, the Vietnam War, every chance we get. And like it says, the veterans themselves are just critical for us out there. They do more volunteer work and the color. I mean, it's a great partnership, and I'm glad you initiated that because
and I know when Eureka does Shurika, all sorts of the Vietnam veterans are down there volunteering. Yeah. And I use, I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I use Vietnam veterans just out of the fact that, again, our World War II guys and Korean guys, they're great, but they're getting old.
Right.
We're all getting old, but they're really getting old now. And our young vets, we have a fair number of young vets in town. They're working. They're in our police department, they're in our fire department, they're all over the town, but they don't have the time to get out there, and I don't blame them. It's difficult.
When we talk about retirees too, as I mentioned in the show, 83% turnout for the election. I mean, that's phenomenal. That's a much higher rate than we have throughout the state.
Oh, phenomenally more.
We've got a well-educated group of retirees too. You're a perfect example of this, but how do you engage and mobilize that retired population to get more involved in what's going on in the community, or are they really active already?
There's a large number that are very active in the community. They're involved with adult sports, as an example. Senior games they're getting out there for. You go to our local theater, they're out there, and they're acting. They're doing a lot of things that seniors might not do. And then again, a lot of them living in the Sun City area, they have a lot for them to do up there.
How about politics? You've seen a lot more retirees getting involved in politics.
I think so, yeah. I just look at the demographics of who's run for city councils and things like that. Yeah, a lot of them are, just because they're over 65, they think, I can get out there too,
Yeah. Colton, let's talk more about economic development. I asked you at the beginning of the show, why Mesquite from a business standpoint. Can you give us some more specific examples of what kind of incentive programs, what type of tax structure you might have for a new business that's coming in?
Certainly. So obviously being Nevada, we have the great tax structure of Nevada itself. And then we enhance upon that and have even more within the city of Mesquite. City is pro-growth. They want to see more industry come in. They want to diversify the economy. They want to help businesses and make the process, as easy as possible, and let them know, hey, this isn't going to be a painful, drawn-out issue. If you need something, building permits, and so on, we're here for you. You you can come and meet with the mayor if you want. There's so many times where I'll be meeting with a business owner or a company that wants to come in, and I say, hey, let's go to lunch with the mayor, get to know him, and he's always available. So there's that side of, I guess, the culture and the climate of the community. And then some of the nice things that have been implemented is a incentive matrix that will get them into some of this land that the city has and wants to see it in the business. In businesses' hands. So they've devised a matrix that has 3 tiers, each of them being 30%. So, if you tally them all up, you can get up to 90% off the appraised value of land. A lot of this land has infrastructure all to the curb. So the way you get those 30% discounts and add them up is through the capital investment, through the number of jobs, and through the wage of those jobs. So if you can bring in those things, which businesses do, you're going to get the incentives, and everybody's a happy camper. The city of Mesquite's going to be happy to have them and support them, and we want likewise believe and know that they're going to enjoy and prosper in Mesquite as well.
And Colton and Mayor Lippmann, I mean, what comes first, the chicken or the egg in this situation? Do you bring the businesses in first, and then you can kind of drive the labor market and get more young families here to fill those jobs, or do you need to have a system of having that prior to the businesses coming?
We try to run them parallel.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tough.
Exactly.
It is a chicken or egg.
It is difficult. I go back to the days of when I had a lot of friends working for IBM Corporation. And IBM in those days stood for I've been moved, because as they relocated and added on, they moved their employees. They paid for their housing, they paid for their moving. The corporations don't do this as a rule any longer. They go to an area and they look for employees.
Yeah.
So it is a tightrope that we have to walk to get that.
Yeah.
Likewise, again, with the housing, do we build all the housing and then hope somebody is going to come up? They used to do that. Everything was spec. And then the recession hit, and you saw what happened with spec housing. So.
Right. Colton, is there a scalable model then? I mean, can you build a small amount of housing, bring in a small corporation, and then kind of build from there, or is that part of the strategy?
It's certainly scalable. There's private guys who are getting in and plan to build some housing, just smaller, nothing too grand, but start with 30 units or so. We're also working with some larger developers who anticipate and plan and have plans in the works currently to do a little bit larger complexes where maybe it's going to have a few hundred units. So those are in the works, and we need them regardless of whether more business come or not. Right in a given moment, we're going to need those, and so we're addressing that issue. It's not that one in particular is not a chicken or egg, just because we currently have the need for it, and so we just got to get that resolved. But it's going to be moving forward, one of those balancing acts, and so I think we'll be able to manage it well. We have really, kind of as the mayor's discussed, we have a really engaged city council, well-educated city council, and new people always coming into it that have new and fresh ideas to help address these issues. And so I don't really worry about our future as far as how we're going to handle issues, because we've always had really competent people at the helm to address these problems.